So the NBA finals are here, and we now know who the two teams are going to be. It is going to be the Indiana Pacers from the Eastern Conference and the Oklahoma City Thunder from the Western Conference, competing to see who will take home the Larry O'Brien. And I don't know about you, and I feel like this might be a very hot take, but I'm really excited for this finals. Uh, they're two teams that we haven't seen win a championship in decades,
I
and
I, I
I
don't
think
think
two.
ever. The Pacers don't have a chip. Oklahoma
And
City
well,
doesn't have
Oklahoma City hasn't won one since they moved to Oklahoma. They have one as the Supersonics in Seattle, but never got
yeah.
one.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
So like, yeah, but exactly, the point still stands. Is like, the Oklahoma City Thunder have never won a championship. So first off, yeah, we're getting a new champion, someone who's never been crowned before. So that's going to be awesome, regardless of who takes it home. But the basketball itself, I feel people are underrating how much it's going to be. This is the old school physical basketball that we're going to love. Both of these teams are deep as hell. They play fast, they play aggressively, they play really good defense, good team basketball. And I think Oklahoma City rightfully should be the favorite in the series, but
Hmm.
Indiana's going to give them a run for their money. And for anyone counting the Pacers out, they've made easy money of everyone that they played so far, and you should not count them out
Yeah, I
because
know. And we definitely counted them out so far too in our NBA videos. I guess we could start with the Thunder first. Um, the Thunder just smoked the Wolves, plain and simple. I know a lot of people were excited to see the Wolves back in the Western Conference, especially the way that Dallas manhandled them last year. I was like, okay, this is going to be Ant's second time around. Let's see what he can do as far as making the necessary adjustments. Because you saw him they were underdogs against the Lakers and they overcame that. You saw how well they did in the second round too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Wolves they didn't play the Nuggets. Who did they play again? I'm sorry.
they
They
played the
played
Warriors.
the Warriors. They handled the Warriors too. They got a little lucky with the Steph injury, but they got the Warriors right up on out of there. And when a lot of people thought that the Warriors experience would have helped them through it, and now going into the OKC series, you thought, man, is Ant ready to take that leap into best in the world combos? And unfortunately for him and the Wolves, they're still. It's weird. They're still at the same spot they were last year, like by record and by status, but as well as eye test. Like you see, the Wolves still have a way to go as far as being the contenders, and the Thunder have answered the call. It was rocky at first. It was rocky at first, but they've handled the call tremendously.
Yeah, I agree. For as much as I don't want to see Oklahoma City win a championship for,
At all.
oh, well, yeah, because like I like Shea, I like the Thunder overall as a team, but having Chet Holmgren win a championship before Wemby just hurts me a little bit.
You
So,
telling me I have an SGA win a chip before Luca? Oh my gosh, I'm sick right now. I'm so sick right now. But I
wait,
mean,
but you're a
credit to
Mavericks
them.
fan.
I'm a Luca fan. I'm a Luca fan.
Okay.
But I mean, the way I put it is that SGA is really having one of the best seasons that we've ever seen from a guard, and he's been putting up. It was a little rough early on in that Memphis series. His performance, at least, not really the Thunder as a whole, because they kind of blew them out. But and especially early on in that Denver series, especially the first 3 or 4 games. But ever since that second half of the Denver series and this entire Western Conference Finals, he's been on a heater, especially just being
Yeah.
overall consistently on the offensive and doing what he's supposed to do as the main guy. And although I haven't been sold on J Dub and Chet Holmgren as number 2 and number 3 scoring options, they've definitely made up for it on the defensive end, because this is an all-time great defense that the Thunder got. This really, really is.
Yeah.
And they deserve to be in the finals. They've been the best team in the West the entire season, and in the playoffs they handled they handled their business. They handled their business.
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting for the Timberwolves, and we'll do a whole episode about this. Talking about what teams we think are going to see a lot of change in this offseason. And like I said, we'll get into that some other time. But to focus strictly on the Timberwolves, like you said, they are just kind of stuck in that place where they got back to the Western Conference Finals, and Oklahoma City is a very good team, but for the Timberwolves, you look at this team construction and you're like, what do we do next? Because we traded Cat, still had the same amount of success. I don't think they have their first round pick this year. I think they traded to get up and get Rob Dillingham, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, Maybe you could correct me on that, but I don't know, man. The Timberwolves are just in a weird place because you know that you want to build around Ant, but do you take Julius Randle out of the equation, even though he was one of the better pieces on this team? Throughout the
And he
playoffs.
and he definitely was better than Cat was last year
Yeah,
for them. But then you look at how
yeah.
big the Rudy Gobert contract was, and he's been good for them, but he hasn't been great, right?
Well, the
And the
problem is
coaching's been
like,
good.
who's gonna want Rudy Gobert too? Like the Timberwolves don't have any leverage in that situation because they gave up a lot to get him. They're paying him a shit ton of money, and there probably aren't a lot of teams that are gonna want to take that contract for the level of play you're getting back. Because again, not to say that Gobert is a bad player, but he's just there's a limit to what he can do offensively, and there were times where Oklahoma City exposed that in this series, and I mean, this isn't new for Rudy Gobert. This is a conversation we've had before, but
No,
it's going to be really, yeah,
they're like we said, they're at the same spot they were last year, and credit to them because they tried something new, switching Julius and Cat, and Ant got a little better, but they're just not a good enough team yet. And Ant in itself, he's a great player, but he's still not in that top 6, top 7 in the world combo that I think a lot of NBA media and fans want him to be, just because we love his personality and his energy. And we know how great he can be, but he's not in. Like you saw the levels between him and a guy like SGA. Like you saw that there was a different level that Ant just couldn't get into. No matter how much we wanted him to do it, he just couldn't get there. He just couldn't get there at
yeah,
all.
and it's okay because Ant's still young. He's still experiencing these things for the first time. I mean, even though that was the second Western Conference Finals, it's with a different team. Uh, I I think Ant has been very good, and as long as he's on the Timberwolves, they're going to have a chance. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe the best course of action is just let him continue developing because I think he can become that top 5, top 3 player in the world. But it's just a matter of him,
Taking
stepping
that
up in
leap.
these moments. Yeah, taking that leap and stepping up in these moments. And yeah, hopefully we'll see more from them next off season. And for the Thunder, I mean, like you said everything that we need to about this team. They played really great throughout the regular season. They have the MVP in Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and they're going to be the team to beat